Hi, I'm Steph Arnaldo, multimedia reporter for Rappler's Lifestyle and Entertainment section. Today, we're getting to know the women behind the sashes, the newly crowned queens of Binibining Pilipinas 2025, who took the stage last June 15 at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. So each of them brings their own stories, advocacies, and personalities to the table. And I'm sure they're looking forward to sharing them today as they grace the Rappler HQ. So this afternoon, I'd like to introduce Davao's Katrina and Johnson, Binibining Pilipinas International 2025, Iligan City's Annabelle McDonnell, so Binibining Pilipinas Globe 2025, and Las Piñas Dalia Varde Khattab, first runner-up, and Siargao's Kathleen Enid Espenido, or Kai, second runner-up. So hi ladies, thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much for having us.
So how's everyone feeling today before we start? Go, anyone can share. Yeah.
Excited. I'm sure Dalia is well rested.
And inside jokes.
Okay, yeah, you can. It's
A
cute.
week in of media interviews, you already have inside jokes. So what happened? Well, I'm very excited. I had rested last night.
Nice.
Yeah.
She's just copying me.
You guys have been on the go since coronation night, no? Yeah.
It's a good thing to be on the go.
It's a good problem. It's a good being busy. Yeah. So before we dive into your individual journeys, so I'd like to ask one question for all of you. When your name was called in the top 4, what was the first thing that came to your mind, and who was the first person that you thought of? Yeah. So anyone can start? You seem like you have someone in mind.
Okay. So the moment I was called into the top 4 as Binibining Pilipinas Globe, I just took a beat, a pause. I said, 7 is me. And then it went blank for a little while. I was just crying out of pure joy, pure relief, pure excitement for what's to come. And I thought, oh yeah, I still need to do that thing I promised to do, which was to do a little satellite wave, because
What do you call it?
Satellite.
Oh.
No, it's like a satellite, because me and my boyfriend make fun of pageants, in all good humor, in the best means possible. So we had a video call the night before, and we said, if you win a crown, let's do the little satellite wave and give a little wink. And so I was crying, and then I was like, oh yeah, I need to do that. So I was like,
Cute.
so that's the story behind that little
cute.
moment.
Nice. Anyone else?
For me, I was so shocked that my number was called. And of course, I was crying. I had the group hug with the girls behind me, so that was really special. And truthfully, the first person I thought of was my mom. That's why I was crying so hard. It was, just a culmination of how many years, even like from my upbringing, it was always like her dream to be a Binibining, and to have that pay off that night was so special. So I was just thinking about it like, oh my gosh, thank you, God. And I knew that, wherever my mom was, at least she was happy.
Nice.
Well, for me, I was just very grateful that my number was called. Like, we were there, we were on the line, us at the top 14, so we wouldn't know like who would win. And I'm just very grateful. I really thank God, and I really thought about my mom as well, my sister and her niece. So yeah, I'm just very grateful, and I know that they're happy and they're very proud of me.
Nice. Good for you.
For me, before getting into Binibining, I was really praying for growth. And so when my name was called, my number was called, I was like, I've learned so much. The first thing that I thought was, what a journey it's been, and what a way to end the journey, to be crowned as a first runner-up. It's truly such an honor. Meeting these girls and being able to work with them now. We've been together for like a week, and it's the best feeling ever. To be surrounded by like-minded women, strong women, and to showcase that. So while I was called, I was like, there's still so much I wanna learn. And even though it was a little bit hard throughout the Binibining journey, it was definitely such a rewarding experience.
just being on that stage. Nice. Okay. And for Katrina, I know that this is not your first time in the Rappler office, right?
Second.
Yeah, you were here in 2023 as first runner-up. So congrats on the successful comeback.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having me again.
So I'm sure you're not the same person then as you are now. And in one of your interviews with us, you said that being runner-up then does not mean you're not good enough, right? You said there was a purpose that transcends being on the stage. But you did say back then that you have more to offer, right?
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I have the screenshot.
Ambitious.
So was returning this year scary, exhilarating? What made you say yes to facing the pageant stage again?
Well, truthfully, even when I was a candidate, even before coronation night and being first runner-up, I knew like midway into that journey that like this was not my best. I think I was really trying to chase after that idea of being crown worthy, but I knew in my heart that I wasn't quite there yet. And that is a scary thought, right? When you look at yourself and you don't think that you're the best version of yourself. But of course, I am, so grateful that BPCI allowed me to be first runner-up, and I learned so much from that. But in my heart, I knew like, if I have the chance to come back again, if I am able to become the woman that I want to be, then I want to join again. So that was why it was kind of an open-ended question of if I'm ever going to join again or not. I know that eventually I'll get to the point where I am the woman I want to be, but I wasn't sure if I would meet it in terms of like the age gap and the age limits. So in 2025, it was just after my birthday, the end of January, where I thought, you know what? I reflected and I was like, I've done so much in the past couple of years, and looking back, I think, 20 or even, 10-year-old Katrina, if she looked at the Katrina I am now, she would have never imagined that this was possible. And I wanted to kind of lay everything out there. I didn't want to live with regrets. That was kind of the common theme that I had been following since 2023 is, you know what, even if I don't get it, because obviously joining again as a runner-up, you're not entitled to anything. It was me putting myself back out there. It's an even playing field with all of these ladies. So, of course, there's a little bit of, oh my gosh, what if I don't make it into the 4 again? But I wanted to make sure my heart was in the right place. I wasn't here for validation or anything like that. It was more so I wanted to put myself out there because I knew that I kind of had developed myself enough to a point where I was a woman that I would have wanted to see on that stage, and I'm just really grateful that it paid off, and I'm here with Binibining again. They can't get rid of me yet.
Made it. And so everything happens for its reason.
Absolutely. I really do believe in perfect timing, and 2023 was not my year, but fingers crossed, 2025/2026 is my year.
So speaking of, how do you intend to prepare for this international pageant?
Well, I'm actually so grateful that I have a year and a half. I am such a planner. So it's the best case scenario for me. I want as much time as possible to plan things. So for I think the rest of the year, obviously trends kind of change. So I'm not going to look too much into gowns and outfits, the physical stuff, more so on trying to develop who I am as an individual, trying to really cultivate that substance that I want to showcase on the Japan stage. I really hope to go through Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao to really kind of delve deep into my roots and stuff. So I'm looking forward to doing that for the rest of this year, and then eventually working on the nitty-gritty next year.
Okay, nice. You have a lot of time.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Katrina. So my next question, Annabelle. So you also bring a lot of pageant experience to the table. You've been competing since 2018, right?
2017.
2017. And your win now is your return to the national pageant spotlight.
Yes.
Right?
Oh.
Yes. How did you stay grounded and persistent through those near wins in 2022 MUP and in 2023?
Staying grounded is quite easy. A lot of people might assume that I came back with expectations of where I'd land, or they might have expected me to have an easy time. I tell you that no pageant is easy. And you have to do your best each and every single time, because looking back, in my early days of local beauty pageants in 2017, I know how scarce opportunities are to get to a national stage, and how tough it is to even make it in the local scene. So I carried with me a lot of gratitude to even be doing the nationals one more time, and in my mind, probably maybe the last time, depending on how things went. And staying grounded is super easy because I really live by the words memento mori, remember that you will die. And it sounds really depressing. Is this on brand with Binibining? But
It's real.
realistic? Yeah. But I carry my faith with me, but at the same time, memento mori. You only have one life, so you have to make the most out of it. And that's exactly what I did with my comeback this time around. I carried with me gratitude. I carried with me the focus of you probably can only do this once ever in your entire life, so you might as well give it your all. And thank God that I landed where I was. I was praying to land. And I mean, I'll carry this gratitude with me even to the Miss Globe stage
Yes.
this October. Yeah.
How do you plan to prepare as well?
Obviously, I didn't think this far off, right? Because you don't want to jinx anything too much. But I will still be sticking to the same work ethic, training ethic that has carried me from 2017 onwards. And I'll still be training under Aces and Queens, so they really take care of passerella training, Q&A training, and hopefully this time around I'll get to work with more Filipino creatives. I'm super duper open to stylists or designers that might want to work with me. Syempre, hindi naman yan free.
Yeah.
Not absolutely, but in this day and age, in this economy, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That doesn't. But I mean, collaborating, meeting halfway, I'm so game to that. So I can't wait.
Nice. Okay. Congrats also. And
Thank you.
for you, Dalia, so you're the youngest, right, of the four.
It's a tie.
Oh, 20, 21? Both 21. So who's the youngest? You. Okay. Second to the youngest. And the first time pageant experience, right? Yeah. Hi. At 21, this is something to be proud of.
Thank you.
Yeah, super. Wow. At 21. Yeah,
At any age, what were you doing your first pageant and being Binibining, no?
Thank you so much.
And you're also an actress.
Yes.
Yes. So you starred, you were Kim alongside Donnie Pangilinan and Bel Mariano in He's Into Her, right? Yeah. So, what lessons did being in showbiz help you in your Binibining journey and in your pageant experience?
So I learned the importance of hard work and how important it is to use your own voice. Even if while I was taken care, I was taken care of by ABS-CBN and my management and my handlers and everybody, even my co-stars. Everyone was so amazing. It's just that I also kind of wanted to put my own twist into things always, which is what in turn helped me pave my own way here in pageantry, because there is so much beauty in being able to plan things on your own and being able to have your own say into things, like my dress. My dress in pageantry and during the finals, which I see there, is very me. It has a little bling of Arabian style, which is who I am. And so understanding who you are at your core and being able to really develop it even more, have the need and the want to develop yourself even more, change how your outcome is going to be.
Yeah. Okay, so you learned more about yourself through showbiz, and you brought that into how you're presenting yourself as an individual woman in pageantry. Yeah. Okay.
Despite it being the first.
Yeah. I mean, wow.
Maybe not the
last.
last.
Oh, yeah.
I'm.
It's a huge flex.
Yes.
This is the first.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to go about everything as relaxed as I can, because we're so lucky to be in Binibining Pilipinas, be working with them for a year.
Yeah.
It's such an honor because they take the best care of their girls.
Yeah.
There's only four of us they have to worry about,
Yeah.
and we're not that big. We're not messy people.
That's nice. Okay, so I go to the youngest. Yeah. So, Kai, you're also no stranger to the public eye. Your reality TV show in Pinoy Big Brother community.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and you also hold the title of Misfit.
Misfit Philippines.
Yeah.
Last year, yes.
So, how did those experiences in reality TV and a fitness pageant contribute and help you prepare for the Binibining Pilipinas stage?
Well, one thing about me was before Pinoy Big Brother, I'm a really, really shy girl. It's hard for me to express myself. And then I wanted to be an artista. That was, even when I was younger, I wanted to be an artista. And then I tried to join Pinoy Big Brother. I submitted a video and I got in, luckily. And well, it was a bit hard when I was inside because one problem that I had was expressing myself to people, talking to people. And then after Pinoy Big Brother, I really gained confidence, more confidence, believed in myself. That's why I wanted to continue my dream also to become, a beauty queen. When I was 14 years old, I really looked up to Katrina Gray. And then, but there was a lot of challenges in my life that I didn't get to continue pageantry. I wanted to really help my family financially. That's why I also joined Pinoy Big Brother. And then there was a time in my life where I said, okay, this time I'm going to choose myself. I'm going to do what I want. And then, yes, I joined Binibining Pilipinas. And I'm just very grateful that I've got to become more confident, I believed in myself more. And of course, through pasarellas and Q&As, that also, really helped me as well in Binibining Pilipinas.
Okay. So all your experiences and your journey so far have helped you be here exactly at this time.
Like it helped everything fall into
To place
at the right
divine
time.
timing. Yeah. So, but beyond the wins and the titles, of course, being a beauty queen is more than just that. It's the purpose, the change that you want to make, and your advocacies. So, advocacies often come from a very personal place, and I think all of you have great stories to share and inspire others. Right? So, Katrina, you're a licensed pharmacist, yes?
I am.
So, your background in healthcare, how did that shape your advocacy as a beauty queen? And how do you plan to bring that advocacy to the global stage now?
Yeah, well, I would say healthcare is really or not even healthcare, really being of service is at the heart of everything I do. It's the reason why I pursued a profession in pharmacy is because I did want to give back to the community and be of service. And to be honest with you, it works hand in hand with pageantry because there is that charity aspect and it is you wanting to give back to the community. But in terms of how does being a pharmacist help me? Well, my advocacy has always centered around healthcare. Even when my mom was sick, I noticed firsthand how honestly lacking our healthcare system is in the Philippines, and it's unfortunate. I have seen firsthand the unfortunate disgrace that it is that certain sectors are overlooked. Most especially, I tend to focus now on children in orphanages and the indigenous community. Aside from just a lack of access to medical professionals and healthcare in general, they are almost undereducated when it comes to how to take care of themselves properly. So what I have been doing as an individual is really going to them, trying to focus more on the basics, health literacy. It sounds so simple. Even before I was kind of like, is that actually going to make a difference? But I've seen through the way that I organize my own outreach programs, basically. So I don't like to talk about it very much because I've always been kind of shy, but when you're able to teach them and impart such basic knowledge and see how that changes their perspective and how excited these children are when they learn how to wash their hands properly or how to properly nourish their bodies or even take care of their siblings. Because if you think about it, children in orphanages, they don't have their ates or kuyas. They don't have moms and dads that can teach them right from wrong. So the fact that you're able to impart that knowledge and to see them be so receptive and implement that, it's so heartwarming because you think that they're going to grow up to be the future generation. They're going to know how to take care of themselves and pass on that knowledge to their future children as well. And when it comes to our Indigenous community, the fact that there's just a lack of access. So it's ironic because I'm a pharmacist and I sell medicine, but I try to advocate for prevention rather than cure, because obviously there's only so much you can do when you're trying to cure something. I want to set people up for success and hopefully raise, the future generation of very responsible healthcare.
And you're starting with like groundwork information.
Yeah, grassroots levels, and
Education.
I'm trying to set people up for success before going into the nitty gritty and the really specific. Like, let's say, for example, if we're talking about actual diseases or illnesses, because if we talk about informing and making sure health literacy is practiced, a lot of the preventable communicable diseases wouldn't be an issue. I believe the updated, I believe it's like 1 in 5 people who are sick, it could be prevented. So if we're able to get that down to a better number, or if we're able to manage that better, then obviously that would put less of a strain on our healthcare system, and we can then better designate our resources to other sectors that need it as well. So I'm trying to do what I can as an individual, and I hope I'm able to partner with more public and private sectors to do more.
Nice. Okay. Thank you. And for Annabelle, you shared that you were orphaned at a young age and you had to be financially independent at 15. So you shared a very moving story during the coronation night. And how did those experiences in your youth shape how you're forming your advocacy for vulnerable communities? Like, how does it feel to now have a national platform to champion a cause so close to your heart?
Oh yeah, it really feels amazing to now have a huge platform, an institution, to be part of an institution like Binibining Pilipinas, to talk about my advocacy. It's really something else, and it's hard earned, I'd say, as well. But my traumas, well, not really charot, like, I'm not kidding.
Yes.
my formative years were really all about being thrown into the deep end of poverty. Because I wouldn't say I was orphaned at a young age. I enjoyed a normal, happy, but however, I was raised by my uncle and my grandma since I was 6 months old. However, everything changed for the worse by the time I was 15. And I was kind of alone, and it really felt like I just had my uncle and my grandma, and then it really felt like we were up. It was us against the world, you know what I mean? And there's something that's so seemingly surprising about how Filipinos value family, or rather, we always say that as a nation we value family, but it would surprise you how bad people treat you when they see that you're not from an ideal cookie cutter family. And on top of poverty, I had to deal with so much discrimination because I wasn't from a background that had the ideal family set up. And, success stories are always attached to people with an ideal family. So there were 2 things that were keeping me from success, at least in the eyes of people who have never lived a day in my life. And I hope that really changes for a lot of children. And another thing is, everybody is for children's rights up until they actually come into contact with a child who is, for example, not from ideal background, a child who might be in conflict with the law, a child who is growing up in an indigenous community who, instead of playing or instead of worrying about, homework, they worry about whether they'll keep their homes from people who might want to grab their land. You know what I mean? So it's really unfortunate. And the moment children's rights discussions become specific, that's when people sort of get uncomfortable. But I hope that will change. And that's why I am so happy to be advocating for Save the Children Philippines, is because as an advocate, I'm not some philanthropist, and I really felt powerless as well to start pursuing an advocacy. I'd kind of joke like, should I support a charity? I feel like I'm the charity case. But over the years, that changed through hard work. And I was glad because from the beginning, with my journey with Save the Children Philippines, they really do educate you and mold you to be a great advocate. And it's multifaceted. So baka naman. They do work on a lot of sustainable development goals, all in line with children's rights.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, hopefully people will join our mission, not just with NGO work, but also with lobbying bills like, the positive parenting bill, which is still in the Senate. I think this would benefit everyone, not just children, but parents as well, who might look at themselves and ask themselves, what could I be doing more? Yeah.
Actually, that's nice because can I share also from myself? Yeah, I in college also my organization was for kids with cancer, so hospitals also, and because I was also a sickly kid, spent time in hospitals. Like when you push for a cause, it feels much more. Like, it's not just a platform, a cause. It's like something you really want to fight for because you know what it feels like, right? So I'm glad to hear that. Your passion is really radiates for all your causes. So the kids will be lucky to have you by their side.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. You're gonna make us cry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, don't cry.
Dapat tayo natapos.
Later. And so also Dalia, do you also have a personal cause or advocacy that you'd like to promote now that you may, as you said, continue on your pageant journey, maybe even internationally? Yeah. Is there something you'd wanna?
Well, right now I'm definitely just focused as fulfilling my duties as a runner-up. Who knows? I also, throughout this journey, I wanna build my advocacy even more, discover more about myself, what it is that I'm truly passionate about. But at the moment, it's really women-led entrepreneurship, financial literacy that I advocate for the most, and even using stories, allowing people to use their voices as a tool for change. I advocate for that very deeply because I've also been independent quite young. Since being an actress in the Philippines, I had to leave home pretty early, which is in the Middle East. It's like very far, like 8-9 hours away by plane. So my parents currently live there. But I was able to learn how to navigate my own life pretty young because of that. And that's why I'm very passionate about independence among young kids, because I believe when you teach them young, when you start by showing children how to navigate and make use out of their finances or even build a business, especially women, young girls, they can secure their lives for themselves without having the need to depend on anybody else, literally being independent. And that is something that we need. We need more of that. We need more role models, women role models that are leaders, have their own voices, and that's what I support. Hopefully teaching kids how to use their voice, one little kid at a time.
That's great. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Good luck. Yeah. And also, speaking of women empowerment, that's also your advocacy, Kai, right? With the Kai Project.
It's Kai Project. It's actually for the underprivileged kids. Back in 2021, I'm sorry. Back in 2021, we lost our home. Me and my family lost our home to Super Typhoon Odette, and that was one of the lowest point of my life. And it was either to give up or to continue in life. And I was like, why give up? I'm a fighter. I know I am, and I have to fight for my family.
Yeah.
And so I continued with my life, and I really looked for the things that I could give to my family, especially financially. And now that I am slowly building my life, getting the things that I dreamt of, I want to help the kids and really give them what they need in my own ways, in my own small ways. So back in February, I think February 6th, I celebrated my birthday with the kids in Nayon ng Kabataan. That was our first outreach program, and it was just very fulfilling to see the kids smile. And I really hope that I could continue that with Binibining Pilipinas, with the organization. Yes.
So Kai stands for
knowledge, action, and inspiration.
So that's what you help the underprivileged children acquire.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay. So, beyond the titles and advocacies, no beauty queen actually is an island. I guess you can attest to that. There's so many people behind the scenes, behind that crown, your family, your friends, your sisters, your team. They play a huge part in what you do and what you achieve. So for many, I mean, for all of you, it means something bigger to win this or to represent your cause. So Katrina, your gown during the coronation night,
Yeah.
it was a tribute to your mother.
Yes, it
The crystals formed the butterfly pattern, right?
Yes, in the back.
In the back, yeah.
So actually, a fun fact about that gown, the very first national pageant I joined, I had like this vision of wearing that type of gown. But at the time, I didn't know if I would ever join another pageant, if I would ever find a designer that would be willing to make a gown like that. So when I first got into contact with Sir Louis Pangilinan, I was like, you know what? I have this gown that I sketched like years ago. Can you take a look at it? And like, is this feasible? Do you think that this is a good idea? Like, please let me know. Like, let me know your opinion. And he was like, yeah, like, let's do it. Like, that's your vision.
Wow.
And it was his idea to add that extra butterfly in the back. I was a little worried because I've always had a butterfly with me. I always have one every single day. And I was worried that people would be like, ay, butterfly na naman. Pero kahit yung sa Natcos ko, again, it was a sketch that I was like, I want to do the pomelo. Like, I want to honor something else in Davao. And it's like, yeah, we can still go with like the butterfly, like still acknowledge your mom, because that was what I did the first time around. Everything was dedicated to her. So kahit yung gown ko the first time around was inspired by the wing of a butterfly. So it was really nice to carry out, that theme up until now. And of course, it's so heartwarming to work with creatives that, see eye to eye with your vision. And of course, I mean, it's not my profession, right? I don't do that professionally. So to kind of get that nod, like, yeah, this is
You
a
designed
good.
your own dress, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
It's been really special. I don't know if other people would say like I'm too hands-on, but I really like to make sure that every time I'm out in public or someone is able to see me, that I'm really like wearing something that is kind of a representation of who I am as an individual. I don't care if it's not, necessarily known to the person, but at least the image that they have in their mind of Katrina is something that is like quite literally Katrina.
Right.
So I am so grateful for that gown. That is truly, I think, the one and only moment in my life I've felt so beautiful and confident, and just I felt so overwhelmed with emotions. When I first tried on the gown, we were all together, all of the candidates, and I cried when I looked at myself in the mirror. Like, just such a special moment, and I'm really so grateful for everyone on my team. Of course, my makeup artist and my hairstylist. They're from Davao, so talagang they've been with me from the start, 2023. They have believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. And of course, I've met other people along the way, like Ma'am Mitch and Sir Louis, who, again, just have offered their full support. And it's so humbling, and it really is. It pushes you to muster up the strength and the courage to keep going, because inevitably there are days where you look at yourself and you go there and you see 35 other women who are so successful and so beautiful and so eloquent, and you're kind of like, ooh, am I up to par? And of course, you have to think of the people who are rallying behind you and who believe in you and are trying to help you achieve a dream, even if it means that they're not the ones in the spotlight. So, I truthfully think, the fact that I'm able to wear this crown is, I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for them. Of course, it's my dream, but it's not just for me. It's for everyone else. So I'm thankful. Yeah.
Wow.
Perfect.
Perfect. And Annabelle, you said something very powerful also during your Q&A. When you hit rock bottom, don't despair and don't use that as your identity. Rather, use that as a launch pad.
Yeah.
So there's purpose behind pain, in essence.
Yes, I think so.
As a beauty queen, someone who has defied the odds, what kind of legacy do you hope to leave behind to your fans and other aspiring queens as yourself?
The legacy, or part of the legacy I'd hope to leave behind, is the truth that nothing can stop you from achieving your dreams. Not anybody's opinion, not anybody's limited imagination of what you can achieve. And certainly not the circumstances that you were born into, something that's not even your fault. I think none of these will matter if you have the right intentions and you have the right work ethic. You can achieve anything you put your mind to. But at the same time, hopefully, these conversations will pave an easier way for beauty queens from the provinces or from less lucky economic backgrounds to also pursue what they want to pursue. Parang at the same time, we also need to ask ourselves, why is there so much needless suffering in the country? Of course, nothing will ever come easy, and of course, there will always be struggles, but we as a society, we we can control how low we allow our kababayans to sink into the depths of poverty. We need to start asking ourselves, why can't we have healthcare for free? Why can't education be an absolute right for everybody, not just elementary or high school? Why not college, diba? For more and more people across the country. I think more than anything, my legacy should ideally be about proving haters wrong, proving non-believers wrong, and asking cutting questions to the right people.
Nice. Ooh, powerful. And Dalia, you have a lot of years ahead in your pageantry and showbiz career. Is there something that you've learned from your fellow queens? Any advice like ates have given you that you will be taking with you in your next ventures? Yes.
I am actually looking forward to that heart-to-heart we're all going to have.
You're going to have it.
I'm
nice.
really looking forward. It's just that we've just been a little bit busy, but throughout
the competition.
Throughout the competition, what I've learned from them, of course, is to not give up on your dreams. These are women that have been on the stage more than once, have proved themselves more than once, and understood that rejection is just redirection into something even greater. And that's something that I also that's a piece of advice I want to also put into my own life and learn from that as well, because I find I'm very flattered that people want to see more of me on stage. People like how I perform or who I am as a person. And it's just inspiring for me to hear that. I definitely want to make people proud.
Nice. You have been. And for you, Kai, your experience so far with your advocacies and competing, what have you learned so far in your journey that you will take with you as you achieve more things?
Well, I've come to realize that I'm not going to be liked by everyone, and so, I just have to be myself and love myself more, and sometimes choose myself as well. And I'm not here as someone perfect. I'm here as someone who never gave up. So I hope that everyone can put that in their minds too, to never give up, even when what life gives you. So I hope that you also believe and choose yourself sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's nice to see such a mix of those with more experience, those fresh faces, and what binds all of you, I believe, is just the sincere and genuine desire to serve and make a change and represent what you believe in. So it's actually been a pleasure hearing more about your advocacies, what you've been doing. Underneath the glitz and glamour, there's more to learn. So I'm sure your fans will be very happy to hear. So before we wrap up, I'd love for you guys to give one piece of advice, not just to aspiring beauty queens, but to young women out there, like myself, who are still figuring out what they want to do and who they want to be and what they want to stand for. So anyone can go first. No pressure.
Well, for me, what I said earlier, to know what you're passionate about and to really believe in yourself, because parang who do you, got? Parang it's yourself talaga, and of course
Yeah.
your family. So yes, believe in yourself, believe in the light inside of you, and I think that if you put whatever you want talaga, and then I think that you would get it.
Advice for young women in general.
Yes.
I guess two-pronged siya. Firstly, for all the young women out there, don't chase love. Chase life and love will find you. Trust me. Love found me on a plane. We sat next to each other. So don't, focus on yourself first, be your own woman first, and then it will all fall into place. And second of all, young women also have the tendency to settle for less. Like, not just in love life, but just in love life. Patama pa yan. But I didn't mean that in a bad way. I swear to God. We tend to settle for we tend to settle for less in professional life or in family life or in our friendships, happiness shouldn't be this far off thing or parang, when I win a crown, I'll finally be happy. Or when I get that job, I'll finally be happy. Or because it never happens. Happiness has to come from within, and you have to teach people how to treat you. So don't be a doormat, because life is too precious and short to be somebody else's doormat. Go for what you want.
Nice.
I agree with that. Yeah, don't be belittled to just your looks. You have more to offer. But I guess my advice would be coming from my own experience in life. When I was younger, I thought that I did not have the right to dream big. And I thought I just had to kind of box myself in and settle for a mediocre life because I was not this person who was wildly privileged and I didn't have this picture perfect family. Because again, what Annabelle said kanina was right, is it was almost, my thought was, well, only people who come from perfect backgrounds are, I guess, allowed to achieve whatever dream they want or go after the dream in the first place. So I spent so much of my life just kind of suppressing and shrinking myself and telling myself that, no, I'm not good enough to go after my dreams. I'm not even good enough to try. And, thankfully, there was a point in my life where I realized that that is such a grave injustice to not only myself, but to my mother, to my parents who have worked so hard to give me the life that I have. And I am thankful because, again, I was able to realize that. So if there is something that I can impart, it's, just because you look around and you don't see people who look like you or people who don't come from your background or you don't fit the mold or, tick off every box on someone's checklist. That does not mean that you are not worthy of going after the things that you desire. Even I cannot tell you how many times I've been told I'm too shy, I'm too soft-spoken, I'm too old, I'm too late to chase after my dreams. If I listened to that, I wouldn't be here today. So I think the most important thing is, regardless of what anyone says, if you have that true desire, if you have that true purpose, you're going after it with love, kindness, and a pure heart of service, do it. The world is your oyster. Go after it as long as you're not doing anything to harm anybody. Chase after your dreams.
I completely agree with what both women said, especially Ate Annabelle. All three, everyone. I have something to say. I still have something to say. Ate Annabelle was saying, be independent first. Something I also believe in and I advocate for. Be your own woman first. To the young girls out there, continue to keep striving, continue to have these amazing ideas, and don't be afraid to lead your own life because there's so much power in being dominant. And there's so much power and so much beauty in embracing that CEO side of you. And also with what my dearest Kai said, I'm gonna, our baby girl. So many inside jokes. Don't be perfect. Don't aim to be perfect because what's most important is that you're real. What you showcase is your authenticity and who you are in your heart and what you've learned throughout your years. And don't belittle yourself. understand that you're worth everything. You have so many people, all the little girls. You have us to represent you. And so we won't forget all the hardships people face. And a piece of advice is just continue loving yourself, continue being that person, and we're here.
Right, nice. Thank you so much for inspiring me, for inspiring everyone watching. And I just like to say thank you to our Binibining Pilipinas Queens, Binibining Pilipinas International 2025, Katrina Ann Johnson, Binibining Pilipinas Globe 2025, Annabelle McDonnell, first runner-up Dalia Varde Khattab, and second runner-up Kathleen Enid Espenido for taking the time to be here with us at Rappler. So I hope you guys enjoyed your time.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yay, thank you. So once again, I'm Steph Arnaldo, a reporter for the Lifestyle and Entertainment section. And for those watching, if you have anything you'd like to tell or ask our queens, you can do so in our Rappler Communities app in the Our Life chat room. So thank you and see you again soon. Bye-bye.